Welcome to the Collective Pursuit podcast, where we have Nate Brott, Eric Ratliff, and myself, Willie J. Today, we are going to be diving more into how Eric got started in his first amazing year in business. Take a listen as Nate Brott grills him with some questions. Nate, ask Eric questions, or Eric, just start talking.
I have a question for you.
Gotcha.
Your start has been every entrepreneur's dream, and I know that there is a big cost to it emotionally, physically, relationally, and you did get a pretty good head start compared to most people. A couple questions. One, describe your situation, where you started, how you worked out, what you did to learn whatever, and how your goals have shifted, because they have shifted. And I know that you've spoken specifically, and you can go into specifics or not. You know, your revenue is astronomical for a very small, teeny one-person business. It's like, I mean, it's more than people that do in two trucks sometimes. Tell us about that start. I want to know how your mindset has changed since you've started. Tell me everything.
Yes. Yeah. So it started out and we were just trying to get the phone to ring, right? So basically, long story short, my family had a carpet cleaning business growing up. And so when I decided to leave the what I thought was like the holy grail or the pinnacle of sales at the time I was doing medical sales, and I decided to leave that, and I actually pursued professional photography for a while and realized that, you know, that was like feast or famine, right? Like some months you make several $1,000s, some months you make more than you could in a 9-to-5 job. And then other months you would just it'd be nothing or whatever. So got away from that and wanted to just build something that was bigger. Right. And so when it came to starting a small business, the carpet cleaning thing was something I had some experience in, but not a ton. And it was mostly, my family did a lot of commercial jobs. I really wasn't involved in the residential side of stuff. And so when I did it, I went and got recertified and everything. And I kind of set out to just sort of transfer the skills that I had learned in the corporate kind of sales world into the residential carpet cleaning sort of space. And what that was that, hey, we're going to be willing to do whatever it takes to delight this customer, right? So it's not about just coming in and cleaning the carpets. It's, we're going to give these people something they never, ever expected or, quite frankly, thought was possible from a home service provider. And so that's conversation, it's professionalism, it's expertise. It's all of these things simultaneously that no one thought could ever exist sort of together. And so we got the business rolling, and then March of this year, we filed for the LLC about a year ago. And then we did friends and family business. We were just kind of like getting comfortable, and it was a slow start. And then in March of this year, we started advertising with Google, and we just were like, hey, we're all in. We are dumping as much money as we have into Google. And it was cool because we invested in enough other stuff like branding wise, and the business was legitimate at that point. So when people went to our website, they're like, okay, so it wasn't that. So all the money we were spending was yielding results because the sort of everything was cohesive, and the professionalism of our ads, of our website, it was all sort of on point. And so we were seeing results. It just costed a lot for customer acquisition, essentially. and we knew that we could grow slow or we could go quickly and pay for it. And so we chose to grow quickly and pay for it.
Right.
And so that was kind of what the beginning of that looked like. And then we started, we employed some things to like really maximize our Google reviews and things like that. And so, since March of this year have acquired like I think 70 reviews, glowing reviews, customer experience, and that was all great, and I'm really really thankful for all of that. It took and it wasn't like it didn't come free or easy. It was like it was like a lot of connecting with people who had done things, who had a lot of experience. People like Nate, people like Will, who were like, hey, I did these things, and here's how I did it. It took me a little longer to get there. Do it this way, and you might get there quicker. And we were trying whatever, right? And so that part we're super thankful for. And but to address like the real hard stuff, right? Like this stuff is not easy. It's a lot of 12-hour days. And when I'm talking about it was working for us, I mean that we were doubling revenue every month, starting in March at like $1,500. We were doubling revenue and until like August or July or until August, we were doubling revenue every single month. And so you can do that math for yourself, but and that's not like profit, right? Like we have it
already.
We have a lot of expenses, right? We have a ton of expenses, but that's the thing. We've been investing in the business. We're not taking anything for granted. We're trying to bolster the business so that we can make it through the next, pandemic or the next swing of this one or whatever. We're just trying to do all the right things, but the reality is none of those things all come at a cost, right? Like for instance, this time last year I was doing and this isn't like a humble brag, but I played football in high school and stuff, and I played football for 15 years, and I've worked out probably 4 times a week since I was, let's say, 14 years old. And
I've worked out 4 times ever. So
right, yeah. So hey, we're totally good. You're not missing it.
We're good. I'm having a good time.
But having something like that as part of your routine, as part of, I mean, both of these guys here can speak to routines and the power of that. And I mean, there's books out there that are like flying off the shelves. Atomic Habits is a huge one. Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss is a huge one. And this guy does nothing in that whole book, but examine the routines of high caliber people, right? And high achievers. And so when you have something like that, that's such a integral part of your life, and frankly, a cornerstone of your life, and then it's taken away from you because you decide to shift your focus. I mean, I didn't have a workout for like probably 5 months. Yeah, there was a pandemic involved in that, but I was also really, really focused on growing this business. And I'm sure there were several 14-hour days, and we're not talking about 14-hour days where you're just hanging out at the office and working hard on emails and trying to acquire customers. We're talking about 14-hour days where you do 4 to 6 jobs where you're sweating and carrying 50 to 60 pound machines, and it's not for the faint of heart, to be honest. And that's one of the first things that I told these guys. Like when I got busy, I was like, shit, guys, I wanted to get busy, and I got busy, and this is tough,
Yeah.
And again, this is coming from someone who a year ago at this time, or at that time, I was doing weightlifting competitions and stuff, pulling like 400-pound deadlifts, and it's like, so
Dang,
I'm not like
that's big boy.
Well, it's not and again, it's not a brag. It's just to say that like the things that we're building don't come easy, and
no, that took a lot of time too, man, to get to that point.
And it's just honestly, there's struggle in it.
Right.
There's it's scary, it's unknown. All that stuff is very, very true. But the other reality to all this is that if you dig and dig and dig and dig and read books and network with people and reach out to people and put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you will find personal growth. You will find satisfaction and fulfillment that you've never had before. I mean, the business is out there for the taking, and the reality is that if you care more than everybody else and you're willing to put your customer first in every situation and give them experience and make that a non-negotiable of your every business interaction,
Right.
you will win against the old guys that are complacent and they've had their business X amount of years and they're kind of on their way down and they have employees, and it's like they're pretty far removed from all that. Like, if you bring fire and you bring determination and you bring the fact that you're not going to lose no matter what, you won't lose, and you'll find out a lot about yourself. And I don't mean to turn into a motivational speaker, or a shitty one.
I like it.
But yeah.
Just to top that off a little bit, I asked you several questions, but I developed several more since you've been talking. I took some quick notes, and what I love about the way we jive is that we can create very thought-provoking questions that may or may not change your life, but there's no wrong answer, there's no right answer, but it's enough where it pushes us all to move forward, which is what we're hoping.
Do better.
This podcast, exactly. This podcast, the YouTube, potential affiliate links that we will get paid money on. We sure as fuck hope that you click. All of these things is meant to bring you value, and that's what it is. But you mentioned a couple things. You mentioned one, routine. And I've done a poor job, but when I'm thinking about it and I'm being intentional, when we talk individually, not on a podcast, I try and ask questions, and you guys do too, on what the day looks like. When we chat in the morning, Eric is very good at doing that live video call at 6:29 a.m. every single morning. To wake us up, and every time I'm like, shit, man, like it's 5:30 my time or whatever, like it's and I'm like, man, I should be at the office by now. It's 5:30. I should be crushing it. And he always calls, and it's such an awakening for me. But anyway, that's a part of Eric's routine. And then later in the day, when I chat with the boys and everyone else, I'm thinking, okay, what are you guys doing today? Like how many jobs you got? Like what's going on? What's your office schedule look like? What's going on? And what I find, mostly is that if you take away, and this has to do with, even the people that he's mentioned, Tim Ferriss, and the other books that Eric always tells me to read that I end up downloading on Audible immediately and then listening to in a day, is focusing on what's important and what's not. And what's that guy you told me about, Mr. Cristofanelli or something, Eric? His book was The Art of
Not Giving a Fuck.
It's the art of basically being unconventional.
Yeah.
I finished it today.
The world domination guy.
But it's the art of being something. Basically, being out of the ordinary is what the book was.
Chris Guillebeau.
Yes, Chris Guillebeau. He talked about having a very focused routine. And it wasn't in the sense of routine. The sense was, I have a ton of stuff that hits me in the face every day. And if it does not advance, and Eric didn't even read this book, but he told me, hey, this guy wrote a book and I think it'd be up your alley. And it was his first book ever written. And it was very up my alley. But he basically talked about saying how many things hit us every single day, what's important, what's not. And also, if it is important, but it's not up your alley, outsource it, right? Same thing with me. Like my phones, someone else deals with the business phone calls. I can't not answer the phone. I mean, I could not answer the phone, but if someone should be answering the phone, but it's not up my alley, and that's my focus, right? That's the routine. Then what I wanted to ask you specifically, though, Eric, based on what you just mentioned, was you're on the truck, just like most of us, at least part-time, full-time, maybe time, whatever. If you bought your business and it was 5 times the size of yours, multiple trucks, multiple employees, what would you do owning that business? Is there services that you'd add or deny? Yeah. And what would you change as a completely uneventful owner, right? Like you don't answer the phones, no emails. You're looking strictly for investment. This is important for all of us to hear, myself included, because we make bad decisions every day because we're directly involved, which does not bring us ROI, which is exactly the reason we start a business, is for a very specific ROI. That's the only reason we do this. Yet we make bad, crap decisions based on our own comfort. Eric, if
can I say something about that too?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also believe that it's on emotion, right? So good decisions. And Eric, I'm sorry if I'm taking your wind here.
Oh, you're good.
There's plenty of wind.
But we can go on for hours. This is going to be a long show. Which, buckle up,
That'd be a three-parter.
Yeah.
we keep saying a half hour and each one's been an hour and 20 minutes. So
hey, it's okay. It's okay. I think that when we tend to make decisions based out of emotion, we can make mistakes pretty easily, and we don't think as clearly as we should, and we don't think in a goal-oriented manner. If you think a little bit more goal-oriented, then you will achieve the goals that you are trying to align yourself with, right? That's one of the things that we're going to have to do a show on vision boards, especially because Nate is very good at them and I am very terrible at them. And Eric, I don't know.
I spent a lot of time on them.
He's done one, and I'm 2 years into business and I have half-assed done one. Actually, here, this is my vision board. It's an order form for a Kit Fox aircraft. I want the STI model. The STI model is good for STOL, or short takeoff and landing. Anyway, this isn't about me, but that's my vision board right now. And of course, I've got $4 million cash sitting right here in front of me. No big deal. $4 million. But So to my point that Eric, I'm sure is going to also hit on, is that emotionally we do things differently than if we were to do them calculated, right? So if you do things intentionally, they're not out of emotion; it's out of intention. They're two different things completely. Again, that could be a whole nother show. But anyway, Eric, go ahead with Nate's question.
Eric, tell me about.
Remind me what it was.
I was
he had to go.
I'll even give an example, Eric. So we stopped doing upholstery cleaning because I sure as hell didn't like doing it. Neither did John, neither did Brandon, and neither did Mario. No one likes doing it. We do it commercially for large facilities like churches, but it's not that we couldn't charge what we should charge and be profitable. We just decided to transition to more of a floor care operation and eliminate that, because there's a lot of mystery involved and a lot of risk involved in natural fibers, things like that. But the reality is I didn't want to do it, which equates to a bad decision because I was occasionally on the truck in the field doing the work.
Yeah.
Eric, what decisions have you or have you not made based on being in the field, and what would you do differently if you were a massive operation and you paid cash for the business that is, 10x what you are right now, and you don't answer the phones, you don't do anything, you're looking for straight investment back? What would you change?
Yeah. So, this isn't a humble brag, but probably not a whole lot. I think that we're moving in a direction based on the connections, our little group that we have, the relationship I have with you and Willie J. And,
Willie J.
And we workshop all this stuff. We workshop this stuff regularly, and so I think that the decisions that I'm making in my business directly reflect the work that was put in on the front end. We have we all have a support circle network, and we bounce things off of each other. Hey, how do you think this will affect my business if I do this? And then there's there's some other things that are just, you referred to upholstery. I had a couple of upholstery jobs where I'm just like, hey, it just doesn't work for us. Like, we've also eliminated upholstery, right? And it's like, sure, do we do it for a favor, for like a big time referral partner or a close friend? If they're like, hey, my dog's ruined my couch, it's a year old, I'm gonna throw it away. Sure, yeah, fine, we'll help you save it. But it's not something we advertise. We've pulled all advertisements for upholstery. And yeah, if I wasn't in the business, what else would I, and Nate, you and I have talked about this before, but it's time to get out of the field, or it's time to get off the truck in a hurry when you're hoping a job cancels for the day, because
yes,
because you're like, oh, you looked it up and it's a big house, which means lots of revenue, lots of carpeted areas, like 10 areas. It's a big house, and it's exactly what you want for your business revenue wise, but you just don't want to do it.
You.
Like, your back hurts. You had a big Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and tomorrow's Friday, and you hope that just both of your Friday jobs cancel. And you should not hope that ever.
You're being lazy or because you're hoping the wrong things. It's because as owner operators, we look at a big job and we think this is exactly what I need, but I can't do this very many times because
you have physical limitations.
Our work in the field is so little compared to what we have to do on the back end side.
Well, this isn't and I'm glad you said that, because it's not a laziness issue.
Fantastic. We didn't have another 80 hours in the office a week on top of that.
Well, that, and then
what a dream!
Like, just the physical part of it is like, you had 3 jobs a day or whatever for 3 days or 4 days in a row, and you're sweating on every one of them, and you're carrying heavy equipment on every one of them. If you call me lazy, you're crazy. Like, you're the crazy one. You know what I mean? Like, by Friday, your back can. Every human has this isn't me, and probably pipe fitters and stuff would laugh at me for saying this, but the work that we do to build this business is not easy work, right? You have to be willing to work. It's real work, right? Like,
and that's not to hit a little bit more on that too. It's not just the physical work; it is the mind work, right?
Right.
We've been talking about email marketing. We've been talking about swinging back around to keep our customers returning to us. The customer return rate in most home service companies or businesses, they are in the home service industry, the return rate is extremely low. So our goal the three of us, and actually there's 6 of us in our group that we speak amongst ourselves together every single day. All of us are doing whatever the heck we can to keep those customers coming back. And that's a very, very hard thing to do. So anyway, sorry.
And the other part of the, what these guys are talking about, like, when I was in the corporate world, you only have one job. Your job is either sales or accounting or whatever it is. And if you're an accountant, the sales guys handle the sales, and you're just responsible for bookkeeping or whatever you do. And I don't know anything about that world, so forgive my ignorance there. But when I was in sales, it's the marketing people do the marketing, the accountants do the accounting, and you just get your paycheck. And most of the time, it's what it's supposed to be, right?
Sure.
Whatever complicated formulas equal what commission and whatever else, right? But and salary or whatever. But when you start a business, now all of a sudden there's nobody else, right? It's like it's you. So if you don't know anything about marketing, you better figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the problem, not a problem, but the challenge lies not in. I know it sounded like I was complaining a little bit, being a little.
Yeah, I guess you were, but that's fine. No big deal.
being a little a prima donna about the work part of it. The work part, right? But the reality is that you're sitting down to figure out something as complex as Google Ad or Google AdWords, what used to be Google AdWords. And there's people whose only job, that's their job, is to do Google AdWords for companies. You're doing it sitting down at a computer after you sweated probably 15 gallons of sweat that day and maybe had a meal and a half since 6 a.m. and it's now 8. And
you're grabbing a cheeseburger between every job and
now you're trying to grind and
wet and dying, full of MSG and fake meat, just to get by, and you haven't even done anything that's of value yet. And that's my next question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's you. No. Go ahead.
Well, the question was for you, Eric. What do you think? And the only reason this isn't a question for Will is because we've had this conversation 100 times. But Eric is a newer business than Will, and you seem to have figured out way quicker than I ever did. Is when you are on the truck all day, and then when originally early on when I had some part-time gig deals, and I'm not on the truck, and I get to bring true value to a customer by figuring out our process, changing it, sending them personal messages, emailing, texting, calling them, just answering the phone, which most home service companies don't do in the first place, right? Like so many levels. And then when you think about the true perspective on what a business owner is supposed to generate for the customers, it is not the service we provide, right? No. How many times, and I hate to say I'm a good example of this, but I sent you guys 3 pictures today, or 3 videos of 3 jobs we did today. And all of them were very big jobs, and there wasn't a single stain on any of the carpets. I sent that to you guys. Where was my value? Was it 1 with removing the stains and dirty carpets? Was it 2, the personal relationship that we give with the customer? Maybe it was that combined with the process that we give them, the automated text emails solutions that we show to confirm the appointments and the cleaning times we have with them. It could be a number of things, but it sure as heck wasn't, hey, I've got a bunch of stains on my carpet, let's clean them. Just like every carpet cleaner that's an owner-operator thinks the reason why the customer hires them. The reason that you would start that, Will, when you started your business, do you think that you would clean all day long with stain-free carpet, or do you think you'd be solving a bunch of quote-unquote stain problems that you'd have for people?
So that's one of my big learning points when I got started is, and I just fixed this on my website and social media too. But I thought that it was just going to be. I thought that it was just going to be like stain, like we're just solving stain issues. Stain issues. People have heavy soiling, and they want all this other stuff going on, right? And here's a little add on to what I was talking about earlier, right? Where I currently live in Mountain Home, it's a suitcase community or a bedroom community, however you want to call it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are moving in and out very quickly at a very rapid pace. I clean for a lot of rental companies, and I also clean a lot of rental properties. And a lot of rental properties are commonly abused, and they've got slime, they've got marker, they've got makeup, they've got pet stuff, they've got everything else going on, right? And as soon as I started marketing myself in a different market, that being the greater Treasure Valley area, I really started marketing myself to homeowners. And homeowners are they hold a different mindset than a renter does. And at least this is what I'm finding, right? I don't have any statistical information on this stuff, but my product cost has gone down like more than in half. It's insane.
We did talk about this.
Last year I was spending so much on product, and this year yesterday I cleaned for a family, and they had a wrinkly carpet. They wanted it stretched, and I was hesitant to take it because I'm trying to niche down on cleaning, and they mentioned they wanted it clean too. So I said, you know what? I'll do it. The worst part about that carpet is that it was wrinkly. Other than that, it was clean. It was a clean carpet. They just want it clean to visually clean.
The people that care about their home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then she air left. Quality.
And then she left me an amazing review. They tipped me over 15 or 20%. And then on top of that, they left me an amazing review and said that they would they would use me again. And I was cleaning what most people would say is clean carpet. It was amazing. Truly, those are my.
That's a joke. That's the industry joke. Oh man, you must be cleaning for clean carpet. I'm like, oh gosh, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, bring it on.
Sure,
it's amazing.
Heck, that happens every day.
Seriously, the minute I started marketing myself to homeowners, my product cost cut way down. It's insane. Anyway, that's another topic for maybe another day. I'll let Eric continue.
Eric,
yeah. So
go ahead.
I think what we bring, and I forget exactly what the initial question was, Nate, but one thing I wanted to mention.
It's 40 minutes, but I love it. Keep going.
I do too. Let's keep it rolling.
One thing I really think is important, and that I sort of always had in sales, and try to separate myself from my competitors. I'm not so much in the competitor mindset these days, but we don't need to be, because what we do is so much different, and it just creates a demand for itself. But back in the day, I'm not that old back in the day, but when I was in the corporate world, we always had competitors, right? And my thing was always like, look, very, very few people do what they say they're going to do. They are authentic. They level with people and communicate effectively, and then just do what you say you're going to do. Set an expectation and keep it.
Say what you need to
say. What you need to say.
Say what you need to say.
Where's Will? So
you must be in the rest.
Say what you need to say.
There you go, Will. Damn, man, you about got fired from the trio. You get here. One of these. All right, hey, to everyone listening, you will be unlucky enough to hear us attempt a harmony one day, but that's not today.
We should practice and do it just for an episode. Hey, Christmas is coming. The holidays are coming, dude.
We'll do a carol episode.
I'm ready.
We need to do something. All right, keep going.
Sorry. My thing has always been just people don't need to be buttered up like a used car salesman. People don't need to be told what they need. People know what they need.
That's true.
They just need you to deliver. They just need you to deliver and deliver quality and guarantee it and stand behind your work and all that good stuff, right? And so further to that, I rolled that into this home service business, and that's been my sort of guiding star and guiding light and stuff the whole time is like, hey, at the end of the day, people don't want to be bait and switched. They don't want a coupon. They think they need a coupon, right? They think they need one because they've been mistrained by every X, Y, or Z company, home service company, and they get a Groupon.
The value conversation.
I'm writing this down as another idea for another episode too, because we can talk for hours about this topic.
And another positive thing I think that works for me is that, and this isn't fake, and this is all genuine and stuff. It's just calling a spade a spade, but the reality is that people want to do business with people like them, right? And so because we've been and because the three of us hold ourselves to a higher standard, we're working on personal growth. We're reading, and it's not to say if you don't read personal development books, or I say personal development, but we don't really read the woo-woo stuff. We read effective business books. But I guess my overall point is that you can accomplish a lot in business, and I keep going back in my mind to what Will's friend Casey said when he said, "Hey, a carpet cleaner is retiring. Jump on it." And it's like,
how
that is
crazy is that?
100%.
And I did.
180.
It's the reason Will is here for somebody.
I'm happy you did. But you followed the wrong. You jumped at the wrong sort of. You could have
keep going. I'm digging it.
You could have achieved the same exact thing by someone saying, "Hey, there's a guy out there who's old and complacent, and he sucks, and you can beat him. Go get it."
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you're absolutely
so
right.
I think that a lot of people should take that mindset, and I'll take this opportunity to say that you should never, ever, ever be worried about what your competitors are doing.
No.
Ever.
Never.
Ever. Unless your competitor is Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Never. You should never.
And still, Coca-Cola dumps sugar into every.
Oh.
And so there's people out there who don't think Coca-Cola is
cocaine into Coca-Cola, and they thought that was cool until it wasn't, and then here we are later,
dude.
Yeah.
So they were popular when there was cocaine in it.
I love what you're saying too, and it speaks to me personally because maybe I had the mindset for business, but I didn't understand that I guess fallacy, right? Where you think you can beat the crap out of somebody because competition is weak, right? That's not a good. And I did it, and seriously, to those of you that are listening and watching, do not say, "Oh, this person's going out of business. I'm gonna go take them down." That is in a sense what I did, even though I knew I wanted to be a business owner, but I also had a lot of learning to do. And again, shameless plug for the podcast, right? We are here to take you along for a ride for our learning. We're learning a crap ton here. We have learned a ton in our short few years. We're all very young individuals.
Just too much.
We're all very, very young individuals. And
Nate goes
learned a ton, and we still have
too much.
And we still have a ton to learn. So seriously, guys, don't follow my footsteps and say, "Oh, somebody's going out of business. Might as well freaking do it." That's not a good time to jump on it. You need to jump on it for you, not because somebody else is going out.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Eric, sorry, keep going.
No, and I think further to that, this is something I've always said, and I've always tried to live by this, even when I had clients back in the day, when I had direct competitors that were trying to provide the same exact thing to my clients, is it costs me nothing. It costs you nothing to be genuine, to be authentic, to care, to be friendly, and to bring a positive attitude, and to just work your ass off, and to tell somebody what's going to happen, and to always do what you say you're going to do. No, like, these guys know that, like, personally, yeah, sure.
Right.
I say I'm going to do stuff all the time, and these guys know I don't do it. But
hey, we all do it.
I always do what I say I'm going to do to a customer. And even my wife says too, like, sometimes, and this is getting a little good here, because I think we can parlay this some other later time, because we all have these other personal, or pick this back up some other time. But, the reality is, like, my wife's like, hey, I'm like, hey, do you work tonight? My wife's a night shift nurse. And I'm like, hey, do you work tonight? She's like, we talked about this. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot, She's like, how could you be so on point with your clients and with business colleagues and with, investors or whoever else, like, that you deal with, that give you business and stuff like that, and you're just a total, like, dense rock when I talk to you and tell you what's going to happen, or you ask me a question, I answer it. And then you ask me the same question 2 days later, and the same question 2 days after that. And I'm like, I don't know, So none of us have, like, this all figured out. But one thing is for sure, if you tell your customer you're going to do something, or if quality is not there, just take care of them. No questions asked. No questions asked at all. That's a complete non-negotiable. It costs you nothing to be authentic, and to be just to do what you say you're going to do and be reliable. And that's how you're going to get a reputation. That's how you're going to get, referrals and things like that. And that's what, honestly, yes, we're paying Google a lot of money, but in the last probably 60 days out of, like, maybe since March, in the last 60 days, a damn good portion of our business is coming from referrals. And I told my friend about you, the experience that I had, and all this stuff. And if you treat people right, they want to share it.
Thanks again for listening along on the Collective Pursuit podcast with Nate Brott, Willie J, and Eric Ratliff, as we share our journey in entrepreneurship. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out to us. Leave us a comment on YouTube, leave us a review, and we'll definitely try to answer your questions. Thanks again. Keep listening. We've got some more awesome value for you next week.